What is up, everybody? Robert Sykes coming back at you. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas and we'll have a happy new year. This is gonna be a pretty quick video. I was gonna shoot a bunch of footage of like the family and Christmas and everything, but I didn't. I just spent time with them. Didn't even take the camera out. I actually feel good about that. I just focused on the family in the moment. Didn't get any footage, so I apologize for that. However, what I want to talk about now, or what I want this video to be, is primarily going to be kind of like a little update video, and I'm going to go over I got all my blood work back from Quest Diagnostics, so I'm going to go over the blood work results from this last month, the mix between the high fat, high protein for the hypertrophy experiment. So we're going to do that. But first, I got a package in. I want to open that up real quick. It's from Thread Operations. I don't have my knife on me. They hit me up on Instagram and wanted to send me a package here. So I want to give them a quick shout out. Awesome Thread Operations. They sent me a nice little card. Let's see what that says. Robert, thank you for taking the time to help our company. I hope you have a fantastic Christmas. Jack. Really appreciate it, Jack. Alright, so this is pretty cool actually. They sent me this, and it is the website is threadseatprotection.com. The Instagram is @threadprotection. But this is it's a temporary seat cover. So like you go to the gym, you get all sweaty, more probably for summertime use than wintertime use. But you go to the gym, you get all sweaty, then you have to sit down in your car and you're just covered in sweat. What do? You throw this seat cover over your seat, drive home, take a shower, throw this in the washing machine. So I'm pretty excited about this actually, because I need some new seat covers anyways. So yeah, it's a super cool idea, but very effective. You just take a shower, throw this in the washing machine, and you're good as new. You don't have to mess up your seats. So I like that. Thank you very much, Jack at Thread Operations. All right, quick little update on what I've got going on now from a training perspective. This is my deload week. I've been incorporating a deload week every 4 or 5 weeks or so. I mixed it up this week though. I did 7 sets of 12 reps with 30-second rest intervals on every exercise every day this week. And let me tell you, I am freaking sore. On squats the other day, I only went up to 135. I did 7 sets of 12 with 135, and I'm more sore than I've been in a long time repping, 400 plus. So, whew, it makes you realize how out of shape you are. That said, I'm about to crank down on the cardio, the lifting intensity, everything. I'm not gonna do a competition this year, but I'm not gonna get competition lean this year, but I am gonna tighten it up, get much more lean, much more in shape, much healthier. I think the ideal body fat percentage in the off season on keto as a natural competitor is between 8 and 12% for a guy. So I'm probably going to tighten that up a little bit. My in-body said I was like 18%. I'm definitely not 18%. I'm probably closer to like 14% right now. So I'm gonna tighten that up to about 10%. That said, my training is gonna become much more intense. I've been kind of following a powerlifting style protocol, 5 sets of 5, 4 sets of 4, 3 sets of 3, 2 sets of 2 on all the heavy compound movements. I like that. I'll probably stick with that to a point, but at the same time, I don't like how I feel limited. Like if you've got a certain set rep number for the powerlifting program and you just feel like going crazy, I feel like I hold back with that, and I kind of just want to unleash that and let myself go ballistic. So I'm about to bring it ballistic. That said, my cardio is gonna increase a little bit. I got a jump rope the other day. I'm gonna start jumping rope because I love jumping rope. My calories, I'm going to try something new with my calories. I know Danny Vega's doing like a little mini cut, and he's gonna keep, I believe he's gonna keep protein constant and taper fat down. And I thought about doing that with him, and a lot of people are doing it with him. Definitely check that out if that's something you want to jump into. I kind of want to go a little different direction and keep my fat ratio a little bit higher, because as he tapers his fat down, his protein ratio by default is going to get greater and his fat ratio is going to get smaller. I've learned without a question of a doubt that I perform much better both mentally and physically with a higher fat ratio, so I'm going to be doing a lot of stuff at the beginning of the year, and I want to be on optimal performance, so I'm going to keep my fat ratio high. So that's what I've got there. Also, my what else was I going to talk about? We got a lot of cool stuff coming. I don't want to reveal too much in this video. This is just kind of like a quick update video, but I'm going to kind of, with my macros and my calories, I'm going to keep them at a surplus, but try and taper them a little bit lower. Still at a surplus, but not quite 3,000, and then go back to 3,000. So like taper to 2,600, go back to 3,000, 2,600, 3,000, you know, gradually over time. That way I can keep my body guessing and don't stay at a constant 3,000 calorie surplus for an extended period of time and gain any additional unnecessary body fat. Second thing that I want to talk about is kind of like the content that I'm going to be pumping out. I've got a wedding to go to on New Year's Eve, so I'll be doing that. I'm going to kind of change the format of how I'm pumping out content here going into 2018, so you'll see that unveil here shortly, but it's going to be good, rest assured. And I'm talking, it's already 6 minutes in. Let's jump into this blood work and we'll talk about that for the rest of the video. So here we go inside my computer. Inside my Heads Up Health dashboard, this is where Heads Up Health is awesome. I've talked about it on previous videos, but definitely check out Heads Up Health. I'll link it in the description of this, but this is basically where I compile all of the data that I collect through all the different experiments that I do. Anyhow, one cool thing is you can use directlabs.com to go order a blood test, any test you like, walk into a Quest Diagnostic Center, get your lab drawn, and then it's uploaded into Heads Up Health once you synchronize it within a day or two. So just to give you all a little bit of a back history here, this was before my competition, after my competition and 21-day challenge. This is just some incorrect data. I don't know why that's in there, it's all blank. But I want to focus on these 3 dates right here. So I did not get my blood drawn before starting the 3-month experiment. I didn't even plan to do any blood work, so it just slipped my mind. I apologize there. 11/3, this test was taken immediately following the high protein month. This test on 11/26 was taken immediately following the high fat month, and this test here recently was taken immediately following the final month, the mix of the high protein and high fat. So I want to mostly focus on this basic lipid panel here. And again, people have mentioned it before. I know that particle size is of paramount importance, as well as, you know, C-reactive protein. I just want to talk about these because this is pretty much this is pretty common knowledge as far as like how the blood work is affected by keto, how it's affected through nutrition, and kind of like what are the goods and bad numbers to look for. So looking at total cholesterol here, it was highest at the high protein month, or after the high protein month. Then it dipped a pretty good bit once I had the high fat ratio month, and then it increased again with this last month, this high protein and fat month. HDL cholesterol, highest in the high protein, dipping a little bit in the high fat, and then dipping a little bit more with the mix. The LDL bad cholesterol, 162 with the high protein, dipping in the high fat, and then rising again in this last month here. Triglycerides, 102, dropping quite significantly during the high fat month, and then rising back to basically where we started here with the mixed month. And then so let's just talk about that for a second. So I can't say this with absolute certainty, but I can say this with a relative degree of certainty that my cholesterol and my blood work seems to get worse or worsen with a higher protein ratio. It seems to correlate quite strongly with the protein ratio that I'm taking in. It seemed to improve over the course of this higher fat ratio month. I don't really want to talk about the previous data, but we'll take a glance at that real quick. So this was the best data set thus far, and this was immediately following my 4,000 calorie challenge month, in which I basically had 4,000 calories consecutively for 21 days, except I actually did it for 2 months. and I had the best numbers during this month. And my triglycerides were down to 36. I mean, there was days that there was one day I had north of 400 grams of fat. So my triglycerides definitely seem to decrease with a higher fat ratio. I can say that with pretty much absolute certainty. That's me. It doesn't necessarily mean this is going to happen to you, but this is the data that I've noticed as it pertains to myself and my own testing. My total cholesterol was 229 here. It got worse. It's been worse since, but it was moving in the right direction with the higher fat ratio. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is kind of, and again, we have to look at the particle size. We have to look at, there's a lot of other variables at play. The data that you look at while on a ketogenic diet is going to need to be looked at through a different set of metrics than if you're on a standard American diet. Things just operate a little bit differently when you're fat adapted and you're consuming higher amounts of fat. But the main thing I want to stress here is that all of my numbers from a standard of care perspective of what's generally accepted as a good directional trend, they all improve when my fat ratio is higher. And speaking from what I've noticed and what I've experienced, I feel better, my ketones are higher, my glucose is lower when my fat ratio is higher. It doesn't seem to negatively affect my performance in the gym at all. So this is just yet another reason why I want to focus on keeping my fat ratio north of 78% total calories coming from fat. So I think my personal sweet spot is between about 78% of my total calories coming from fat and about 82% of my total calories coming from fat. So that's where I'm going to be for the next little bit. That's what I seem to perform well with, and no sense in changing it if it's not broken. So that is where I'll be. Just want to kind of share this with y'all. I got some other numbers done here, but I don't have this video would get super long if I talked about all of those. But Heads Up Health is super cool. Definitely check it out. But yeah, it's cool when you can correlate certain macronutrient changes in your diet to how your blood work is impacted. And this whole system it's just super simple to get data now. So I fully intend to getting blood work done, maybe not on a monthly basis, but probably on a bi-monthly basis. Definitely every 6 months. So highly encourage you to do that. Just kind of have a pulse on what's changing, what's happening in your body, and just kind of being on top of things. So that is that. Hopefully this was a valuable video for you. We'll talk soon, and a lot of great things coming in 2018. Hope everybody has a happy new year. And I'm gonna do a 2018 manifesto. I'm really excited to make that video. But go kill it going forward. Be the best you can be, and we'll talk soon. Toodaloo.